because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
Razaban IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast, and look who's just rocked up here to Bournemouth. Former world champion Billy Joe Saunders. Bill, good to see you, my man. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Yourself?
Yes, I'm good. What brings you down? I know what brings you down, but what brings you down?
We have Louis Edmondson fighting on the show. Probably one of the best light heavyweight prospects in the UK at the moment. He's on the show. He's fighting a former opponent of Ben Whittaker. Looking good in the gym, firing on all cylinders. Been round him for the last month. Been training down there with him, doing little bits. He's looking sharp. He's looking cool, he's looking calm, he's looking collected, he's ready to do the business.
I spoke to Louis yesterday. He's explained to me, obviously, the medical issues that were going on in his life.
All of them?
All of them. He showed me pictures.
Shit. Shit. Yeah. Now listen, do you know what? He's sometimes people get setbacks for different reasons, and he's hampered at the moment. With a few injuries he's had, but they're all behind him now and he's moving forward, and you know, I think he's just happy, and a new lease of life I've seen from him myself, obviously with them injuries put behind him. Nothing major, you know. I see all these other fights, you know, you see some terrible injuries, hand injury, shoulders injury. Sadly this was an arse injury. Yeah, he's got a massive scar. He's over there, if you want at the camera you can pull it out. Yeah, but it's all done. It's all done. It's all good. Do you know what? I'm so looking forward to seeing him perform, especially under the pressure with the crowd. See how he handles it. And you know, I think he's done 300-400 tickets himself. He's brought down there. He's just down the south coast himself. So should be a good night of boxing.
How quick are you going to move him?
Listen, it's not how quick do we want to move him. It's what fights is there at the right time for him, because you know I could afford now to say, right, if a British title come up, I'll be confident enough to take it. British, Commonwealth, European title right now, I'd be happy enough to take it. But we're not looking for that. We're looking further than that. So it's like a building block program. We've got to make sure that the right blocks are put, you know, down, and obviously that it goes with opponents as well. You know who he's fighting now. I think Ben Whittaker took him the points. You know, if he comes out, I've seen him. I've got no doubt that, you know, he should do a number on him.
Billy, you've been out the ring just over 2 years now. Why 2 years? Why has it taken you so long? I know you put a story out to say you want to fight this year. We'll come on to that later. But why did you stay out 2 years?
Listen, I've been in the game now since I've been 5 years old, and sometimes you just need a break and a recharge. But you know, boxing's done me very, very good in life, in ways of obviously keeping me out of trouble and keeping me on the straight and narrow, and trying to, you know, it's very hard to replace boxing, and I see why these fighters come back at a certain, you know, 5-6 years out, and you see, oh, he's coming back, but I can see why now, and you know, but obviously the hard work comes with it, and you know, you've got to be prepared to put that hard work in. So I've only just started doing bits and bobs now, training, and you know, I've dropped a few pounds. I've still got a few more to drop, and there's no rush, but I'll be out this year.
But obviously you've made a lot of money in the sport, 2-weight world champion, been successful, you're set for life, your kids are set for life. Did at any stage in that 2-year period you thought about just packing it in?
Do you know what, from day one I never ever thought about packing it in. You know, I've never thought about saying, oh no, I'm done, I'm retired. But you know, in this sport there's a lot of bullshit what comes with it, and sometimes just the stress to go away from all of that rubbish recharges you. And you know, when I look back at it, you know, I've had a good career, but there's still some big fights out there now, you know. So it'd be a shame just to walk away and say, well, I didn't use my prime years when I should have used them, and been involved in it looking back. So you know, it's always nice, the money comes with it, but it's also for myself as well, more than anything, you know, for my own mental state, something to look forward to. Because look, whatever business I get in, it's not the same buzz, right? Regardless if you're earning money or not, it's still not the same atmosphere, the same buzz. There's always something missing, and you know, I know what's missing, and I can have that. Just all I've got to do is get fit, get in shape, get a date and get, rocking.
Are you over the Canelo loss? Is that done now?
Yeah, of course. Listen, Canelo's a great fighter. He's one of the best I've been in the ring with. But, even when I was in there, I've got more confidence after that fight because I was thinking, is this it sort of thing, So I reckon myself, you'll see the best of me to come yet.
You put a story out earlier, a couple of weeks ago, and you said you want to fight before the end of the year. Yeah. Does Billy Joe need a kind of, not tune-up is the wrong word, but do you want a fight just to get you back in the groove, or or do you want to jump straight back in?
Yeah, listen, I'm not Superman, and to do this fight game, you've got to do it right. And, it'd only be right that I have someone that, who's not a punch bag, but someone I'll get in there where I'm expected to win, but to see what's left. And that I'll get a lot of, I think it'd be a big fight wherever I fight, to be honest with you, whoever it is. I'm not looking for someone who's had 50 losses or something like that. It'd be a good name, but to start mixing it with all these active fighters, I need to get active again. And to do that, you need to brush up on the tools. And like you say, I've been out 2 years, so I should have a bit of a tester of a fight. Yeah.
So when we say big fight, it's not necessarily world titles, right? Because you can have big fights without a world title, fighting for the world title.
Well, my biggest fights out there at the moment is fights without world titles. You've got your Andrades, you've got your John Ryder, who did well against Canelo. You've got all the big names out there still, so there's some big names.
Bill, the fight that everyone has always wanted to see a rematch of is you and Chris Eubank Jr. When you lost to Canelo, he put out emojis of, not emojis, but he put a video of himself laughing. Obviously, he then got beaten by Liam, and then you put stuff out, and the rivalry and the back and forth has always been there. Yeah. So that's still a big fight.
It's a big fight, but I think that he needs to rebuild himself before he talks about, getting a shot at, a big money fight again. Because, Liam Smith, I highly rate him. Great man, great family man. All the Smiths really get on well with them. But Liam come up from 154, where Eubank's come down from 12 stone. He's boxed at 12 stone before, and he was expected to win, and that's the problem in this game. When you're expected to win and you don't win, it's a rebuilding progress. And the age of him at the moment, what's he, 33, 32, 33, not world champion, never been world champion, never will. He never ever will lift a world title, that's for sure. I've always said that from day one, because he hasn't got the IQ to be world champion. And I think Liam Smith certainly put a cap on that.
He's brought in David Haye now to kind of mentor him even further, obviously with Roy Jones Jr. What do you make of that move?
Can I ask you, what's David Haye going to do with him? David Haye's going to do absolutely nothing with him. That's all it is. David Haye, Roy Jones Jr., what are they going to do with him? What are they going to learn him? What his own dad couldn't learn him. His own dad couldn't. But if someone hasn't got it, they haven't got it. And he has not got it. And what he fails to realise is now he's been boiling his body down to 11 stone 6. That takes its toll out of him. He's 33-year-old. He hasn't got the engine he used to have, and he hasn't got a boxing brain now. So he's slowed down. And people, like who's, not on world level, will start having a chance against him.
They're talking about this Conor Benn fight. Obviously, I know Conor Benn, so I don't really want to speak about Conor Benn. We've spoken about him a lot, but he has to go through his process. But does he beat Conor Benn convincingly? Does Conor beat him? How do you see that fight if it does happen in the near future?
Well, first of all, you have to look at, the weights. What weight is it going to be at? Anything 160 or below, Conor Benn absolutely destroys him, in my opinion. And I think Conor Benn is a great fighter. I'm looking forward to seeing him back in the ring.
John Ryder, man you fought many years ago, probably 8-9 years ago. Massive revival in his career. He's done really well, beat Danny Jacobs. People thought he'd beat Callum Smith. Gave a very good account of Canelo. A fight that will interest you?
Do you know what? John Ryder, got a lot of respect for him and a lot of love. He's a former opponent of mine, and I've had a couple of personal conversations with him, and to see he didn't really make a lot of money at first, and I felt a bit sorry for him, but later on in the years he seems to made up for that now, and I'm very happy that he has done, because he's put his time in and he's put his effort in. He's in great shape, he's a good professional, and he is a good human being. But most definitely, that's a fight there. That's definitely on the table for me and him both, as long as the money's right.
Your former stablemate Kell Brook, he's eager to come back, and that's an example that you gave, that you don't want to be this fighter that retires and then wants to come back a couple of years later. Kell wants to come back. We saw him clash with Conor Ben last week. I'm sure you saw that. What did you make of it?
Yeah, look, I think that's a great fight for the fans, them two. Both personal mates of mine. Conor's got the youth, Brook's got the experience. People, when that fight happens, people will be looking at, is Conor Ben, is he what it says on the tin? Has Kell Brook, pushed it too far? And it's an interesting fight. It's definitely a fight I would like to see.
I'll come back to you. So what's your promotional situation? Obviously, I know you've been round the whole block. You've been with practically everybody. So is that locked in? Are you still working on that?
Yeah. I think, the Matchroom, to be fair, is a good setup. I've worked with Frank Warren, got a good relationship with him, got a good relationship with Eddie Earn. But I think, if I'm going to move forward, it'll be on Matchroom.
Trainer-wise, Ben Davis?
Yeah, Ben Davis. And me and Ben works well together. He knows me. And at this stage of people's lives and careers, it's about, working smart rather than hard. Obviously the hard work's got to be put in, but, there's smart ways to do it, and moving forward, I need all that help I can get.
Realistically, Bill, you're not getting any younger. How many more fights you got left in you?
Well, listen, it's really down to how I feel, because I love the crack, I love the buzz when you're away training and you're getting ready for a big fight, and you're talking about the fight. And listen, I can go to, I suppose I'm 34, 36, 35, 36. I wouldn't go over 36. Do you know what I mean? But it's just, I just miss boxing where I want it back in my life. I don't know, I could go to, I'm 40, but I wouldn't really want to go past 36, really. But I have to find something to replace the game on the way. Do you know what I mean? On this journey, because it's a big part of my life, boxing. It's all I ever known, really, and I'd like to be involved somewhere or another. That's the reason why, obviously, I'm looking at Louis Edmondson and trying to guide him somewhere now, and trying to get him the best, obviously, fights we can. And it's just another project that I'm looking forward to doing.
168?
Yeah, most definitely 168. Yeah.
I can't see you coming down lower than 168, right?
No. Listen, at this stage, at my age, 160 is too much on anybody's body. Like, you got to know your body, you got to know the boxing game, and I know it well enough to say, listen, don't tempt fate and start thinking, look, I could make 168, I could make 160, sorry, but it's performing at it. As you see, Eubank at 160, he got spluttered, didn't he, to be fair? Did the old dance, up the floor, lying there, chicken dance, you know what I'm saying? He did jelly legs, and it is what it is, but that's just pushing the body too much.
A Billy Joe Saunders, Chris Eubank Jr. presser. Wow. Popcorn.
Listen, let's put this into perspective first, that he has a long way for me, and I don't own a world title, for me to even consider getting in a training camp and being mentally switched on to fighting, because I've been out 2 years, I could beat him next week. That's the truth of it. He can't box, he's fit. No matter how fit he is now, the age, your body's not going to let you move and go forward and be as active at, 30, 33, 34 to when you was 24. Just doesn't work like that. And, but just get rid of him, because he's a waste of space at the minute, to be fair. As far as I'm concerned, he should be on the unlicensed boxing shows at the minute or something like that, because he needs to rebuild himself, and who's going to rebuild him now? So I think they'll just use him as an opponent for people now and sling him in. He would be a good warm-up fight, to be fair, to come back to, but he just doesn't deserve it.
Just final topic, I want to quickly ask you, obviously, your close friend Tyson Fury, number one heavyweight on the planet at the moment. Everyone thought he was going to fight Usyk for the undisputed. It didn't happen, and Usyk's team have blamed Tyson Fury. Fans have blamed Tyson Fury. A lot of pundits and media are blaming Tyson Fury. Not using the word ducking, but avoided fighting Usyk. What can you say?
I just think a lot of people's going to have an opinion and talk shit, to be fair. I mean, how can people say he avoids anybody when he come back against the heaviest puncher, the hardest hitter on the planet, from being 24 stone after having 2 warm-ups, gone to Vegas and got a draw when he should have won, and climbed up off the canvas, went back twice and destroyed him. Everybody ducked Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua, everybody was ducking him, avoiding him like the plague. He went there and done it. He's the man. He decides when he fights and who he fights. Nobody else. End of story. My opinion.
Okay, Bill, thank you for giving me a bit of your time. I know you're just checking into the hotel. Really, Saunders, appreciate your time on IFL TV. Thank you very much.
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,